Hi and welcome to the next section. In this section we will configure BGP. What we'll do is we'll create BGP neighborship relationship between left and BGP router and between right and BGP router. Also we'll share the PC1 subnet with the right router, and we'll share VLAN 1 subnet with the left router. So let's begin. For that, we'll go on the BGP router. We'll go to services. Don't have installed the FRR package, so I think I have to install it. Just click confirm and just let's wait till the package will be installed. So since we will create a internal BGP connection, we should have a full mesh connection, meaning that we should have a BGP session between left and BGP, between BGP and right, and between left and right. So let's begin with the left router. We have the FRR package installed, and we'll go to FRR BGP, and we will enable BGP routing. So we all know that we'll need a local IS. So I'll go with 6500. I'll click save, go to neighbors, and I will start to add my neighbors. So we'll have the BGP neighbor, which is also in the 6500 AS. And I should also add the neighbor. So add a new neighbor, and here I should enter the neighbor IP address, or the neighbor WAN interface IP address, which is EM0, and the right neighbor have the WAN IP address of 192.168.0.201. 0.201. The remote AS is 6500. It's not actually remote, but we'll add it there. So the local AS is 6500. And I will click save. And I will add the next neighbor, which is 192.168.0.254, which is the BGP neighbor. The remote AS is 6500. And I will click save. We didn't configure the route sharing mechanism, but we will do that after the BGP session will be established. So I'll go to right, services, FRR BGP. I will enable BGP and add the local autonomous system. So click add, go to neighbors, 192.168.0.200. Left was, 200. Remote AS is 6500, and local AS I will add here also 6500, and I will add the BGP neighbor 254. 6500, and I will add the local AS here also, 6500. Click save. Let's go to status. And it says that it is not enabled yet. BGP routing is enabled. Should enable also FRR. 1, 2, 3 ABC. It will require a master password. And on this side we have the FRR enabled. So we'll go to services, FRR BGP, then we'll go to status, and let's see if the BGP will connect. Okay, so one neighbor is connected, and we should wait for the BGP router to finish installing the FRR, and it is. So we'll go to FRR BGP, we'll enable BGP routing, we will add the autonomous system, which is 6500. We can also add a router ID, but we'll leave them as default. Go to neighbors, and we'll add our neighbors, 192.168.0.200, and we'll add the remote autonomous system, and we will add our autonomous system over here. We'll click save, and we'll add the next neighbor, which is the right. So 192.168.0.201, a remote autonomous system, and local autonomous system. Click save, and I will enable the FRR in the global settings. This is a prerequisite which needs to be done. Then click save. Now I can go to status, leave it for a bit for it to refresh. We'll go to BGP summary, and voila, we have our BGP sessions up. But if you see here, we don't receive or we don't send any routes. So let's go back to our topology, and I told you that we'll share the PC1 route and the VLAN 1 route. PC1 route will be shared with the right router, and the VLAN 1 route will be shared with the left router. So to do that, we'll go to the left router, and we'll go to BGP settings, and we'll go here. We have several ways on how to distribute the routes. We can distribute all OSPF routes. We can distribute RIP routes, or we can redistribute local routes. Or we can add here the networks that we want to redistribute, or we can go to global settings, to prefix list, and we can create a new prefix list. So since we are on left router, I will add here PC1 network. I will create a prefix list of the routes that needs to be shared between each other. So action will be permit, and I have to add a sequence. I saw that the sequence work with 101. Also, I can add here 100, or actually I can add any sequence, but in most cases I saw that it works with 101. So the PC1 network is 1.1.1.0/24. So what I'm going to do, I'll add here 1.1.1.0/24. I will click save. Now if I go to BGP, to neighbors, and I'll go to each neighbor, and if I'll travel to peer filtering, I have this outbound prefix list filter, so I should add the prefix list added here for PC1 network. Let me save it, and let me go to the right router, go to BGP status, and see if you are receiving any route. Still no route received or shared. There is one more thing that we need to do here. So go to BGP settings, to go to global settings then, and route maps. So I'll create a route map with action permit, and I will call it accept all. And I will add the sequence 100. There are a bunch of different options that you can add here to get most of your filtering. But for now we'll accept all because we are filtering the routes at the source. So after that you should go to neighbors, you'll have the route map, and for the inbound route map filter you'll add accept all. After that save, and we should do the same for the second neighbor. So now if I go to global settings, status, let's give it some time to refresh. And still no routes are received. Let's refresh it. Maybe it should take some time. Okay, still no routes are being received. Let's go here, and let's go to 201 neighbor, and let's see if we added the prefix list filter. Okay, what we'll do, we'll go to global settings, to route maps, and we'll create another route map here. And call it allow all. Basically we'll do the same thing. We'll add the sequence number, and we'll go ahead and save. Now if I go back to neighbors, and I go back to this neighbor, I will add also the route here and the route here. So basically it will share all the routes, and after that it will use the prefix list filter to filter out the routes. And let me do for the second neighbor also. Receive all, and allow all here. Let's go to the right router, and refresh this page. Let's check the status now. So it will not share the routes. Why this could be? Let's check our routing table, and I can see that this route is present in the routing table. Let's go to services, to FRR BGP, and let's hit here redistribute OSPF, click save, and if we go back here and maybe let's refresh it. And let's check the routes, and now indeed we are receiving one prefix. And if I check the routing table, this is the prefix that is being received. Okay, now on the right router, I will go to BGP settings, we'll go to scroll down here, and we will choose the networks to redistribute. And I can also redistribute local. As I said, there are multiple ways of doing that. I can do that, or what I can do, I can add the IP address of the VLAN 1, and it is 192.168.255.0/24. And I can click save, and if I go to FRR, to BGP status, and if I'll travel to BGP neighbors, I can see that I am receiving one prefix from 201, and I am sending one prefix to 254, which is the BGP pfSense. Also, if I refresh this page here, and if I check the routes on the pfSense, BGP pfSense, I can see that I'm receiving two routes. One from PC1 network, and the second one is from VLAN 1 network. So if I go to the left router, and if I go to diagnostics, ping, and if I ping 192.168.255.2, I think it was the IP address. You can see the IP address. I should refresh the DHCP list. And it is .10. So .10, and let me ping it. And the ping will work, so which means that our BGP session is working, and we have connectivity. Also, as I said, there are multiple ways on adding on sharing the routes. One way is to redistribute OSPF, another way is to redistribute local routes, and after that to use prefix lists to control what routes are being shared. And you need to use route maps to allow the incoming traffic, or you can also use the prefix list to filter the incoming routes. And this is basically how you configure BGP on the pfSense. There are a bunch of other settings, and those settings are needed for advanced BGP configurations, where you can change the local preference, you can do IS-path prepend, you can change the origin code, you can do all sorts of BGP manipulations. But the purpose of this course is to keep it nice and simple, and just to have an idea on how thing works on the pfSense. And in case you want to do some advanced BGP configuration, you should know the BGP attributes, and you should be able to use them without any problems here. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.